pixel, the all-important and completely non-binding effort to take the 32 teams in the NFL and compare them one after another. As we're getting deeper into the season, the moves aren't as dramatic, except for the Rams, who took a big plunge after looking not very good on Monday night. But, Chris, I've seen other power rankings this week that have the Bills or the Chiefs at number one. I don't know how you justify that when the Eagles, number one, are undefeated and have been dominant every single week.
Yeah, I don't either. I think that's like a no-brainer to me. I don't understand that either. I don't know if that's the Josh Allen Mahomes effect or whatever, but damn, Jalen Hurts is playing really good, and there's not a weakness on their football team. I think that's the big thing. I mean, we've seen their offense be dominant. We've seen the defense the last 2 weeks be dominant and, take over a football game. So I'm with you. Clearly number one. I really think your top three, to me, are spot on. Again, maybe you could make the Chiefs 2, Bills 3. I would probably still go Bills 2, Chiefs 3, but I'd have a hard time, arguing your top three. I think that's pretty spot on. Now, after that, you can get into some conversations about how you'd shuffle it around a little bit, but I think those are three clearly the three best teams in football right now. I don't have any question about that.
Well, let's keep going farther down the stack because two of the top 10 teams did not move. One after a win, the Packers stayed at 4, and the Bucs after a loss stayed at number 7.
Yeah,
Do you have an issue with either of those decisions?
No, I don't. I think maybe, with Tua being hurt, if Tua was not hurt, I would have the Dolphins 4 and the Packers 5. I don't know if that went into your reasoning there at all or anything. I do think the Dolphins have been more impressive than the Packers to this point, but I understand too the Packers, been there, done that. It's Aaron Rodgers. They're in the playoffs every year, and they're a little more of a proven commodity. So I'm not up in arms and crazy about that. And then after that, I mean, I don't know. I love that you got the Cowboys 6 right there with the Buccaneers. I do. The Buccaneers are going through a little bit of a struggle point right now, but I don't think they're far off. I'm with you there. I like a lot of the things you got there, and I really like your top 10 altogether. I maybe would have the 49ers up there where the Ravens are at 9 and put the Ravens at 11, somewhere in there, but other than that, Mike, I think I would have my top 10 very similar to yours.
Well, let me just be very candid here in an effort to catch up with you in the S-bomb category. If the 49ers hadn't shit the bed against the Broncos, they would be higher. Because I was looking at that saying, why are they number 11? Oh, yeah, they lost to the Broncos.
Right.
And I don't know how they lost to the Broncos. I remember thinking Monday night, does this mean the Broncos are good? When we were seeing the 49ers dismantle the Rams, what happened in Denver to the 49ers? So they need to be more consistent. They are 2-2.
Right.
And, they lost that ugly game in the monsoon in Chicago, and then they lost a game in Denver that they should have won. And I think they got a little complacent in that game. I think they thought they were going to win, and I think that's where the defense learned, hey, we can't let there be any doubt here in the fourth quarter and expect Jimmy Garoppolo to try to save our asses because we just have to assume that he won't.
Yeah, I think that's, what you're talking and saying there is we're talking about a team the team is great. The quarterback can be head-scratching. I mean, week 1 in the monsoon, hey, it was a slop fest. We get that, but Trey Lance wasn't good. We know that. And then to your point in that Denver game, I mean, Denver's a good matchup for them, but I can tell you what happened in that football game. Jimmy Garoppolo was effing horrible. He was horrible. So it's hard to win a game when, we've showed the highlight clips. There's 2 or 3 plays that are, game-changing, maybe walk-in touchdown moments that nothing happens. We walk out of the back of the end zone, right? There's, a bad interception, a few other missed throws where people are wide open. So that is the million-dollar question with them. It's just team's awesome. Quarterback play can be all over the place given on a given week, and that's where they're annoying and frustrating, and it's interesting to see how they start to put this together here with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Let's get a couple of questions before we take a break. Burton 6 asks this one. The Patriots dropped 4 spots, giving the Packers everything they can handle with their third-string quarterback. Why is that? And this is the very basic analysis that I engaged in. As I was looking at this, there are so many 2-2 teams, So many 2-2 teams right now. I'm not going to put any 1-3 team above them because everybody's had a chance to be 2-2. And the Patriots haven't been good enough. They've won one game. They beat the Steelers. That's it. They've lost 3 other games. I decided I'm putting all the 1-3 teams below the 2-2 teams. I don't care that you almost beat the Packers. You didn't beat the Packers. You had your chance, ball at midfield after a 3-and-out to start overtime, and you had a 3-and-out, and then the Packers drove down the field and won the game. So you had your chance to be 2-2, and you would have been a lot higher if you'd won that game, but you didn't. All the 1-3 teams, and I usually won't do that. Like I don't let myself be overly tied to the records of the teams.
Yeah.
But on this one, I said there's too many 2-2 teams. All of the teams worse than 2-2 are going to be ranked below whoever you are if you're 2-2.
I understand that, and then right now it's just potential. Like I think we think the Patriots,
except for the Lions. You know what though? Are the Lions 2-2? No, they're 1-3.
They're
Never mind. They're all 1-3. All these teams are 1-3 or worse that are below the Bears, who are the last of the teams at 2-2.
Right. The Bears, I know the Bears are 2-2, which is ugly. That would probably be the one I'd put them in front of. There, I just go, I'm going to put the Patriots in front of them. I know they're 2-2, but they've tried their hardest to be 1-3 and 0-4, and I don't see. Justin Fields is a little concerning with his play right now, definitely, and they're just not an overly talented football team either. To where I'd probably put the Patriots in front of them. But I hear you. Again, the Patriots. I'm not sure either. There's issues. There's a lot of things to like, but. Mac Jones wasn't real good the first few weeks. He was careless with the football. They made some mistakes offensively as a whole, and yeah, it was a valiant effort, but, you don't get to move up the power rankings because of a valiant effort with a third-string quarterback.
One more question. Sam Bivalent 01 with the Vikings looking so inconsistent. How many years into Kevin O'Connell's tenure until he starts looking for Kirk Cousins' replacement, and is Florio already sending him possibilities? Look, they're already looking. All those Viking fans that wanted to get rid of Kirk Cousins, the problem was, what's your alternative? Who are you going to get to be better than Kirk Cousins? Who was out there this year? Trade for Russell Wilson? Bullet dodge there, right? With everything you would have had to give up, he wouldn't have been an upgrade over Kirk Cousins. You're not going to have a franchise quarterback fall out of the sky to magically replace Kirk Cousins. He's good enough to win some games. He's not going to win all games. They're at least 2 games above 500 for the first time in a long time. They could go to 4-1 if they can manage to beat the Bears at home this weekend. And you just try to hold on at that point and win enough games to get to the playoffs and maybe win the wild card round and then get the crap kicked out of you in the divisional round. That's kind of how it goes for the Vikings. That's the best possible year for the Vikings. Win 12 games or 11 games, win in the wild card round, and lose in the divisional round to a much better team, like the Eagles or the Rams or the Buccaneers or the Cowboys. That's kind of how it's going to go for the Vikings this year.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, but I think they're, playing better than expectations for sure. And you're right. I mean, Kirk Cousins is like the least of the he's not a problem. And you're right. It's just another guy where I know everybody wants Mahomes and Allen and Lamar Jackson and all that, but, there's just only a few of those to go around. And then you get into outside the top 7, 8, 10 quarterbacks. Okay, you get into the Kirk Cousins conversation where I go, you can win a Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins. Yes, but it's not going to be like we play through him and he carries the team type of win Super Bowl. It's going to be more like, hey, we run the ball and, we play defense and we have a really good system and he's smart and knows how to execute it. And occasionally we get a one-on-one with Justin Jefferson and he hits a bomb down the field. That's what that is. And you can win that way. You can. I mean, again, if Jared Goff can get to the Super Bowl, so can Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins just hasn't had the luxury of having Sean McVay and the Rams superstars around him to get there. And I think that's, the bottom line for me.
And that was the very candid remark that Vikings GM Kwesi Adofo-Mensah made in the offseason that made a stir, even though he spoke the truth. We don't have Tom Brady. We don't have Patrick Mahomes. We have Kirk Cousins.
Right.
And that's the way it is. But you know what? Your guy Kyle Shanahan would be working on Super Bowl number 2, maybe number 3.
That's what I mean.
If he had Kirk Cousins.
Exactly right. Sometimes it's just, the opportunity and how the world shapes up for you a little bit. And, again, we have a lot of like Russell Wilson won a Super Bowl. I know, and we're always going to give him that mantle. So what? It wasn't like they wouldn't have done it without him. I mean, it was the defense. It was great special teams. He handed the ball off and made a play every now and then. It's not the realm of, quarterback carried us to a Super Bowl type of thing. And there's other teams and quarterbacks we could talk about that too. So that's where I just, I get a little annoyed with the subject sometimes. Sometimes you do got to build a team around the guy. You can't always have Elway and Marino and, superstars at quarterback.
Every coach in the NFL is going to have regrets, but I would suspect that the biggest regret that Kyle Shanahan has, I don't know, maybe it's not taking Patrick Mahomes, but shortly behind that would be not just waiting another half of a season and getting Kirk Cousins as a free agent instead of getting Jimmy Garoppolo, because how different his life would have been the past few years if he had a guy who can make those throws that are open, that fuel the offense that Kyle Shanahan has designed, that will work to perfection with a quarterback who can make those basic, easy throws. Kirk Cousins can make those throws. The ones we always say about Jimmy Garoppolo, what the hell was he doing?
Right.
Kirk can make those throws.
No doubt.
It's just the other moments where it becomes an issue. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.